We will now call the Beaufort County Board of Education agenda setting meeting of June 1, 2020 to order. The meeting is via video recording and conferencing. We need a motion to approve the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
I seconded. Is there something going on with the app? I have some couple people who've emailed me, who texted me to ask me what's going on. They're trying to get in the meeting.
The people who have iPads, there is something that goes on that they can't get on with Zoom with iPads. If they are district iPads, they have to push out the new updated app.
Okay.
That's what's.
So is there a
All right,
call-in number? Is there a call-in number that you can email them, all board members, and let them know they can distribute those numbers?
It was on the agenda that Molly sent out. Yes, there is a call-in number.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
So William, that's just how I'm in the meeting, is by that call-in information. All right,
Okay.
Any discussion about approval of agenda? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's fine. Aye.
All right, we will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge of allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America and to the republic for which
it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
The media was properly notified. We're now on to approval of the May 11, 2020 agenda meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move we approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I can second that.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Give me a second. Give me a second. That's fine. Yes, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so you're aye, and Kathy?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Now we're on to setting the June 9th business meeting agenda.
Excuse me, Tina, can I ask you to take a roll call of board members who are on this call by phone so that I can record it?
Yes, so we'll just go, is District 1 present? 2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yes.
9, yes, 10, 11,
Richard Guy is on here too, correct? Mr. Guy, are you on here?
That's not Richard Geyer,
Who's that?
Rich BC, I think.
the community
Okay.
member.
Okay.
so how many is that, Robin? I wasn't keeping track.
Other than
Well,
the officers, David Stribinger is the only other one.
Okay, all right. Does that help you? Is that adequate what we just did?
Yes, yes.
All right. So with the draft agenda that's in board docs, is anything changed with the, it looks the same to me,
Also,
public
Dr.
comment?
Rodriguez, hold on. Dr. Rodriguez just joined us as well.
okay, thank you, William. All right. So we have no changes there, right, Robin?
With,
Public comment? It's the same as what you've had the last several meetings.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So the next thing will be the executive session, and we have a number of items here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ooh,
So we have, I'll just
Ooh.
say them. The TCL matter with Roberts Vox, our usual employment matters, i.e. personal ratification report, and discussion of employment, appointment, promotion, compensation, the adult at home school report,
Mhm.
discussion of bond counsel, receipt of legal advice covered by the attorney-client privilege relating to legal claims and the resolution of a legal claim, discussion of proposed BCSD contract with Riverview Charter School, and discussion of proposed offer for sale of Bluffton property to Beaufort County School District. So there's no way we can do that all in 1 hour, right, Will?
no, no.
So what's your,
See, I
what
think that,
recommendation?
Hmm.
I would recommend 4 o'clock.
Okay,
I think that we need to have a two-day meeting. We need to break some of it and deal with some of it on one day and some of it on another day. I don't think that we should have all these in one day. I think we're rushing it. Especially, I mean, to be totally honestly, all these can't be emergencies. I think we need to prioritize and see what need to be done this meeting, and if we need to have another meeting or a 2 days meeting. If we don't do if we don't do the 2-day meetings, then we need to go ahead and prioritize and see what needs to be done now and what can be done later.
and Kathy, what's your comment?
Well, I think it's too much to do in one session, a 2-hour executive session. I feel like there's a couple things in here that are going to take a lot of discussion. So my feeling is would be to have a special called meeting to deal with some of these perhaps, but to try and do it, not put it off to another not put it off to the next meeting, but to have a special meeting.
Well, another option would be we could start at 5 and do as much as we could till 6, and then, have our meeting of the public session, and then we could do what we did several meetings ago and reconvene the next evening at 6 to continue the executive session, or just do the entire executive session the next night.
Or,
Or we could do the, go ahead, Robin.
this is Wendy. If it would be,
Oh, sorry, Wendy. Hi.
that's all right. I mentioned this to Dr. Rodriguez that if you would like the items that I have, if you would like me to do those at June 22nd, I could do that if it would be more helpful to the board.
Okay, so
Which
please
ones
tell
are
us which
those,
are.
Wendy?
The last 3 are mine, and when Robin asked us for anything that we had for the agenda, I didn't realize there were going to be 4 other items. So I want to be
I'm
respectful.
sorry, which ones are yours? Yours?
The last 3 are mine.
Wendy,
So are there-
So it seems like, go ahead, William.
That's not me. That's
no,
not Rodriguez.
it was me. So Wendy, you said June 22nd. Just a note, I believe it's June 23rd. That is the next meeting.
Oh, June 23rd. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I'm sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Rodriguez. Yes,
You're welcome.
thank you.
So, I guess I would think that would be fine to do the first 4, which I think we can do in the hour at 5, and then go on with the public session. And Wendy has graciously agreed to postponing the last 3, doing hers at the June 23rd meeting. What do you guys think of that? That's Will and
Yeah.
Kathy.
That works for me as long as there's not a time component there. And since Wendy suggested moving them, I assume there isn't.
Well, I can do that on June 23rd. I
Okay.
mean, I do have a time component, but I still will be within the time component.
Okay. Yep.
Are you all right with that, Will, too?
Were you talking to me, Doc? Were you talking to me, Dr. Guaz? Were you talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have a couple concerns here. One of my concerns is I don't want to put it off too far along, and then we have a bunch that goes that comes up within that time frame when we can do a special call meeting and go ahead and knock them out and get them out when we have that option, versus we don't know what might take place between now and then, and we might be back at square one again in the next agenda setting meeting trying to figure the same thing out. So she's already told us that after this that they're possibly, if they're not mad, that the next meeting that there will be a time that there will be a time restraint on those getting those items done. So I'm with Kathy. I don't have a problem with having a agenda setting meeting. Having a meeting the next day, as we did last time, like what you advised, or having a special call meeting. But I'm not really too inclined to say let's put them on this, because we don't know what may come on the next agenda setting, and there may be some other items that maybe need to be discussed in the executive session. So I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate, and also just kind of, I don't want us to be back in the same shape next agenda setting. That's all. So those are some concerns that I have.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Kathy lost connection.
So can I just talk?
Oh.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
All right, what was the question? I don't
Uh,
really see it.
She said, what was the question? Then I'll turn it up.
So William has, go ahead, William.
I propose that I think that we should possibly have a special call meeting to get to get some of these items down, because what I don't want to have happen is that I don't want us getting caught up into the agenda setting again the next time, and the same way how Willie has already said that by the next meeting that these three topics will need to be made a decision on. I don't want us to we don't know what might come up between now and then, and we don't want the window of this right here, of the agenda. Oh gosh, excuse me, my tongue is tied. Of agenda setting topics to be full. So therefore, I steady just waiting to see what we have next time. Let's just go ahead and have a special call one and get these out of the way, so that we don't run into the same situation that we're running into today, when we're overbearing with the agenda setting topics.
Okay, I hear you. I have a question. I wonder if we can wait till we go through the rest of the agenda, because
So does that make sense, Kathy?
the proposed agenda looks pretty lengthy, and we might need.
If she's talking, I can't hear her.
Yeah.
Can't hear me.
Okay.
All right, let me call in on my phone.
She's gonna call in on her phone, but you're gonna have to do it in that room because of the feedback. Okay.
I lost connection here.
Hold on a second. We're gonna try to get Kathy reconnected again.
Robin, since y'all in the same office, could y'all not share?
Can you hold on a second?
Are you trying?
Okay, let me see what I can get. What she is proposing is going through the rest of the agenda and seeing where we are, because there might be other things to move.
Got you. Okay.
You want to come sit here, and I'll get technology to come work on that while you're in here.
All right, but it sounds like Kathy and Will, that we've already decided those last three things will go to June 3rd in the executive session. Or you want to wait and decide on that?
Well, then my suggestion was, yes, that we're gonna move those, but the
Yeah.
question is, do we move them to June 23rd, or do we have a special called meeting?
Okay.
And I think that as we go through this agenda, if there's a lot, we could do a twofold special called meeting with these executive session things, as well as the anything else on the agenda.
Okay.
Definitely
So
agree.
okay. All right, well, let's keep going then.
Okay. I know everyone wants to get to graduation, so I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I
No
know.
problem. All right, so then we're down to the public session, all the usual things on there, including first public comments, then the approval of the minutes for the May 19th meeting, the chairman's report, and then the committee reports. And Robin, these are the ones that will be meeting in advance of this meeting, correct?
Oh, is Robin back
Guess she's
on?
not. Guess not.
So I came to the district office to do this so I would be closer to Battery Creek. And
Oh,
that's the problem. I don't know what's happening, why I keep getting kicked out.
No, it's not. I'm at my house and can't get in either because I don't have an iPad, but I have a MacBook Air,
Yeah,
my own MacBook Air.
yeah,
And they're updating it, which is not the time to update it when we have a meeting.
right.
All
So
right.
Robin,
Committee report, we'll check with Robin. but
I'll check with Robin. I'm sorry. And I don't know if I can,
I
wait,
can
I
an-
can.
I can
move
answer
this.
that. I can
Okay.
answer that, Tina. The
Thank you, David.
Bluffton Growth meets tomorrow, and the
and
coherent
you-
governance will have met twice.
Perfect. All right.
Okay.
Thank you for your answer, David.
Sorry.
All right. Now we're on to the superintendent's report.
Right, so we have the academic calendar on there, and then in addition, we have just a COVID-19 update, because I'd like to update the board and the community on the steps that we're taking and looking at our preparation for reopening of schools when that takes place. And so I know there's some misinformation out there about that, and so I think it's a good opportunity to share what we're doing, share the input we're going to be asking from our community to participate in, as well as an opportunity for feedback from the board based on the information that we have regarding opening of school. So I'd like to lay that plan out as we move forward, so that everybody understands where the opportunity for input is going to be there, and not just from the community and parents, but also from our teachers and also from the board.
Can I ask a question?
Go right ahead.
This is what I was thinking. This topic, both the summer schools and school reopening, to me, could generate a lot of questions and take some time. So I was wondering if maybe that should be the topic of a special called meeting, just that. And then we could do those other three things.
yeah.
So I agree that I think it would generate a lot of interest and information. And so on this particular meeting, what I would love to do is be able to lay out for everybody, our approach and the steps that we're taking to get the feedback from everybody, right? Including there's still information, we're waiting on, we don't have from the State Department, and so I think people need to know that there's missing information and missing pieces that we also feel we still need. But I also want them to know that there is input information that I want from them and feedback that we need from them, that we need from our teachers, that we need our administrators, and we need from the board, and sort of lay out how that would happen. And then my hope, Kathy, is that we would have a lot of that feedback information too by the time the board, what are you thinking in terms of a special called meeting, the week after or?
Yeah, or even later that week, just to do that, because I think what I don't see on this agenda, and I thought we were going to have it, is Mr. Tischler, Weiss, are they going to be here to talk?
Yes, yes,
And-
they're going to be under board business action, impact fees.
Impact fees, and I thought that could be quite lengthy. And to me, it just seems like if we could put this in its own little meeting, it elevates the importance of it a little bit. And we could do it that week. It doesn't have to be later.
It could be Wednesday. We can have it Tuesday and Wednesday.
But the only thing, guys, is this, right? I'll be glad to do it however you want to do it, but my thought was lay out an explanation for people about how we're going to be soliciting input from them, how they're going to get that opportunity to provide feedback and provide input. And then if the special call board meeting was sometime the following week, then we would have an opportunity to possibly provide some results from the feedback we've gathered. If we turn around and we do it on Wednesday, I'm not going to have any feedback to share with anybody.
Yeah, and I wasn't anticipating that there would be feedback at that time. I
Yep.
thought you would just be laying it out. I'm okay keeping it on. I just think that with the agenda being so busy, it could be a real late one again, and we're trying to get away from those
Yeah.
late
Yeah.
meetings.
Well, I'm open to however you all want to do it. I just know that with feedback information on how people are thinking and reacting to what opening of school might look like, the board would have more information to react to as well, versus if all I'll have the next day is, here's how we intend to get feedback from everyone.
And Dr.
Right.
Rodriguez, all due respect, I think that that's quite fine. The intentions of it is to split some of it up, to give you the time that you need, and the information comes an hour later. That's okay. What we're asking for is the information that you have and where you see us going at, and that's what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with the what if came or if information comes after that, because right now in America, as you see,
Yeah.
America's changing hour by hour. Not
Yeah, absolutely.
second by
Absolutely.
second by second. So
Yeah.
I mean, what you have, we are willing to accept.
Well, so
Okay, so can I say something before you continue?
Yep.
Okay, so I would suggest, okay, under our executive session, one of the discussion topics is selection of bond counsel. So the district has received bond counsel proposals. So I would assume that the board is the one that's going to want to review and decide on those proposals. And we could have that as the special called meeting the next week, because the vendors, the bond counsels that are in the running would likely want to do a short presentation to the board. Of course, this would be via Zoom or video conferencing. And and they have submitted, obviously, information already that the district has solicited. So that could be our special called meeting. So at this meeting, June 9th, I think, Tanya or Reggie obviously would give us a little update. And then the vast majority of that discussion and ultimately decision-making would not be June 9th, but it could be a special called meeting of the week of the 15th. And if the bond council's vendors are going to be, giving a presentation, a short presentation to the board, they'd have to have advance warning. It couldn't be Wednesday, June 10th. I mean, I would think it would have to be the following week. So that would greatly reduce our executive session. I think also the time of the meeting. So that major discussion, that decision-making, board action, all related to that bond council could be a special called meeting the week of June 15th. How does that sound?
That sounds
It's good.
reasonable. That sounds good.
And then I
Oh,
could,
okay.
perhaps I could do
No.
part of my items if you would allow it.
Okay, hold on. So let's talk dates.
No,
So,
let's let Robin, hey, William, let's let Robin query the board members what they can do as opposed to talk dates here and now under this June 9th meeting. Is that all right? I mean, let her, she's gonna have to reach out to the board members.
what actually, my questioning is, I think that we're kind of getting off track, because what you described is something totally different from what Kathy just described. Kathy said, let the COVID-19 be a meeting and have some of those topics discussed, because that would give the COVID-19 some more time to discuss that issue. What you discussed.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
no, you finish your sentence.
But what you discussed was something totally different from the proposal that Kathy made.
Well, I'm giving an alternative for how to shorten the meeting, where we're going to have that bond council discussion. That's obviously to choose a vendor is not going to be something we're going to decide as one of 4 items in 1 hour on June 9th that evening. There's no way that could possibly be determined that night. So there's no question that's going to have to be a separate time or whatever. And I understand what Kathy was saying, and I think to start, I think what Dr. Rodriguez has said seems very reasonable. Let him, get the information out there to the board members and to the public, what he knows so far, what's going to happen with the decision making, and then we can decide based on all that to have that as another separate meeting or not.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, once Dr. Rodriguez has all of the impact. So on this agenda item, it's basically, this is the process that we're going to use, right?
That's what I was hoping. That's what I was hoping to deliver to the board and the public is this is the process that we're using. This is there's opportunities for feedback from parents, from community, from teachers, from administrators, from the board into this information that that way we would be able to capture all of that, or as much of that as possible at that time. And then, what we're seeing in terms of the State Board of Education or the task force that was created, what they're delivering, which a lot of it is just consider this and consider that. There's no blueprint roadmap
Okay.
on this,
Okay.
All right, that makes sense then. Because I do
All right,
agree, the public's looking for some type of statement. So this is the statement. This is how you can be involved. This is what okay, I'm good with that.
All right.
William?
And William?
Not really, because it seems like the meeting is still going to be long, and my
we haven't
logic. Go ahead.
But we haven't even finished. Why do you say the meeting's going to be long? We haven't even finished the agenda yet.
All right. Okay, we'll see.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Dr. R, you're still up.
Yep. So So after that, COVID-19 update, then we'd have the board business action. That goes back to you in terms of the next items.
Okay. And you're going to give an update on that rural area digital connectivity?
We're trying to get as much data as we can on that. It's just, we have, yeah, I'm trying to even reach out to our, well, I guess I'll talk about it at the meeting, but because I'm probably out of order. Sorry.
Earl has his hand up.
Okay, Earl?
You have to unmute him.
Yeah, my suggestion is talking about school opening. Why can't we wait until the State Department make a decision?
Right.
And then we have all the information at once. And then we can discuss this and get it out to the parents. That's my comment.
Because it may change. Okay, thank you, Earl. So I think that would, what you just said would be in keeping what Dr. Rodriguez plans to do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
At the night, right?
Right.
Yes, it is, but the more time goes on, the more I realize that the State Board of Ed, that the Department of Education is only going to go so far in terms of the information that they're providing and giving. So we'll talk about
Okay.
that on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, under board business action, I do think the impact fees is going to take quite some time. And my recommendation when the agenda comes out and the information is in board docs, that the link to the impact fee presentation by Tischler by December 10th, 2019 is placed into board docs for board members. I personally reviewed that, listened to the entire thing again before meeting with county council when the representatives from the respective boards met. And it was extremely helpful, not just to go through their PowerPoint, copy, but also to just hear what the statements were said. I think that would cut way down on the discussion if people came into our meeting with a fresh memory of exactly what was said at that meeting, because that was 6 months ago now, and I don't think anybody not reviewing it presently could remember the details of what was covered. And they will be available. I had Robin or I think it was Tanya reached out to them to be sure they were available. Now they said, Robin, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
So they said 6 p.m. So would that be better to try to place that as, I don't think that a 6, the problem is we don't know exactly when we'll get here. But I think that's kind of, if we place it at the beginning at 6 p.m., I don't think we're going to get to the rest maybe of the agenda for at least an hour or so. Were they under a time constraint?
No, ma'am. They just put the time that we started our meeting.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I was going to suggest that we move them up so that they're not there waiting at 10 or 11 o'clock.
I agree. So where do you think we could move them?
First thing
To, after the public comments?
Yeah, or after the chair report or approval of minutes before.
Do you have any comment, Will?
Nah, after the maybe after committee reports or after chairs reports.
Okay.
So maybe if we gave them a time of 7 o'clock.
I was thinking the same thing, Kathy. Let's just say 7 o'clock and we stop what we're doing and we
Right.
go to them.
What do you
that
think?
sounds real reasonable.
Okay.
William?
Do they do the same thing for us as well?
you mean?
That's fine.
Okay, all right. So that item, you'll just mark will occur at 7 PM or something to that effect. And can you put Tischler Bice there?
Yes, yes,
okay,
I'll
thank
put their
you.
name on it.
All right,
David has his hand up.
go ahead, David.
I was just going to say, if you move stuff on the agenda, are we going to have a big discussion about policies?
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So if Tischler would be available at 8 o'clock or something, I'm just trying to get around stretching the meeting, you know, by having conversations about policies.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's a
agree.
good point.
Well, so, yeah, let's just give Robin a time estimate. Then we don't get into the discussion of the right policy and whether or not we can have a meeting time there,
Right.
or agenda time, or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, just say 7:30 or something.
Yeah. Have them, because if we do follow this whole thing and then get down to this superintendent, yeah,
Oh, I was gonna, so what, yeah, I was just gonna keep it under board business action, but just say that this discussion will take place at whatever, 7:30 or 8 o'clock, regardless of where we are in the agenda. How's that?
That's what I
Don't
was
move it.
thinking.
yeah,
Yeah,
are we able
okay.
to do that? Okay,
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Especially because it's a consultant that's gonna be, you know, on the line with us.
right.
So do you want me to tell them 7:30 or 8 o'clock?
Yeah, probably,
8
I don't
o'clock?
think it matters.
Yeah,
Yeah, 8, let's do it.
8 o'clock.
All right.
Okay.
Then the next board business action item, remember when Lynn Stokes Murray, our lobbyist, came to the work session that we had at the end of February? I think that's what it was. She said she would put together the wording for what she would recommend that we submit to the South Carolina School Board Association as proposed resolutions. And she has done that, so obviously it has to be approved by the board.
Okay.
And what is that again now? What is that?
So the South Carolina School Board Association every year has a legislative agenda. And you were there, Will. Remember how in the December meeting up in Charleston, you know, the different school boards put forth and vote on the different legislative priorities. So we have until June 15th to submit recommendations for this coming legislative session, which will, you know, obviously start in January. So it's the way we can give input.
Okay.
Okay.
So is there something that can be put in board docs prior to that?
Yeah.
Perfect,
Yes.
okay.
All right. And then we have the usual consent, future agenda topics, announcements, second public comments. So remember, those are going to occur at 9,
At
no
9,
matter where we are. Yeah. All right. And adjournment.
Can I interrupt with a question?
David, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. On Dr. Rodriguez's update on the summer school and the school opening, if you just tell us what you know and how you're going to collect feedback, instead of the board giving you all the feedback at this meeting, if you have like the next meeting, you know, you're going to collect, if you just lay out the process, that might shorten the meeting up, because
That was my intent,
Right.
only to
Okay.
do that.
Yeah.
Only to do that. The feedback from the board, to me is later when we have survey results and everything else from our community, parents, teachers about it. So that was my intent, was this is the process, yeah.
Okay, yeah, if we establish that, I think that'll keep it from drifting into a long conversation. We just established that that's the point, and the board will give its feedback at such and such a time.
Correct.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
So I have a question. I just noticed that goal number 1, 2021 academic calendar is on there. Is that on the
I don't
agenda?
think it should.
Yep, that was for, Mary had that to put on there to inform the board which calendar, I think it's the August 17th calendar that we would be following.
Okay,
So,
Because we didn't. get the
Okay.
waiver.
we didn't get
Because-
the waiver. Yeah.
No, it's not because we didn't get the waiver, but it's because two things. One, they haven't met to determine, the State Board of Education hasn't met to determine whether they approve or don't approve waivers, number one. Number two, the State Board, the Department of Ed is looking at using some of their COVID-19 dollars to start, to give school districts possibly an opportunity to start 5 days early, and they would pay for it for K-8 students.
Okay,
Okay, so that would in essence give us the 5 days, but it's only K-8, right?
Yeah.
But essentially that's the deal. And we don't know because they haven't met to approve or not approve.
okay. So that's just like a statement of what's going on.
Right, because I mean, honestly, there are some people asking, they just want to know, is it the 17th? Is it the 10th?
I
Is it, what
know,
is?
yes.
Yeah, some discussions on social media about it also.
Yeah.
All right. So that looks like a pretty full agenda. And are you good? William and Kathy?
Yes.
Could you possibly delete what we don't have so we can see what we do have and add what we said we're gonna do? Because right now, on the agenda that I'm looking at, it still have a full of
Yeah, so
it still have
William,
the 7
Robin,
go ahead.
Robin can send us that in the morning because it's not an instant fix, correct, Robin?
I'm sorry, say that again?
So can you send us, the officers, tomorrow, the updated agenda? Because William is concerned because, it's hard to tell now what we've switched around. I can quickly recap for you, Will.
Sure.
Yes, because I can't do it and show it to you currently. I can't
Yeah.
make the adjustments.
Okay. So we decided executive session will stay at 5. The last 3 bullet items, all to be done by Ms. Cartledge, will go to June 23rd executive session. Then we're going to as we know, the second public comments comes at 9 p.m. and board business action impact fees, since Tischler Bice will be present, will go at 8 p.m. Wherever we are on the agenda. And then the last adjustment, or whatever you want to call it, is Robin will reach out to the board members in the next couple of days to determine when they could have a special called meeting next week, so we could serve as the committee, the board, the entire board could serve as the committee to choose the bond counsel. So the discussion, I think, in this meeting, June 9th, will be fairly limited because the bulk of the evaluation process, including what these vendors have submitted and presentations by the vendors, will be done the following week, i.e. the week of the 15th.
I got it.
I have a question. So I'm reaching out for the week of the 15th, correct?
Correct.
And not next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you have enough time for the vendors to put something together. They got to have a little bit of
Correct.
time.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So are we good?
Well, wait. Actually, if we were gonna already bring the vendors, how much time do they really may need?
It
I
depends
think,
on the number of the vendors.
Yeah, that's something that Tanya will have to discuss with us in executive session on June 9th.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, all right, no problem. Okay, all right. Okay.
All right, so I think we got plenty on here. We've made some adjustments. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Is there
Second.
a second?
Will you
Second.
second
Any
it?
discussion?
Okay.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.